If you're feeling stuck in the muck of midlife and the attempts at reset don't seem to be helping, or maybe they feel too scary, this video is for you. I'll show you what's happening, what's really keeping you stuck, and the first powerful steps you can take to shift the trajectory of your life with clarity, confidence, and self-compassion. I've been there, I've climbed out of the pit, and I can show you how to do it too. If you're anything like me, you spent your life doing what you were supposed to do. You gave, you served, you showed up, and now what? Here we are in the midst of midlife, and nothing looks like how we thought it would. Whether your kids have pulled away, your roles have shifted, or your relationships have crumbled, you're not alone. So many women hit this invisible wall during midlife, wondering what happened to that vibrant, hopeful, purposeful version of themselves that they used to know. I'm among those women. There was a time not too long ago where I wasn't even sure I was going to make it to midlife, let alone make it in one piece, and I had no idea what to expect when I got here or if it was even going to be a reality. Life had been so intensely stressful for the previous 2 decades. It was beyond anything I could ever describe, between dealing with kids with severe mental health issues, way too much family drama, and my daughter losing her leg thanks to a very minor accident. I honestly didn't even give this midlife season even 2 thoughts. We were in full-on survival mode, and we had been there for years. And then the weirdest thing happened. 1 minute we were full on in it, and then the next, as soon as we dropped my son off at a program that literally saved his life, and ours too, it was over. And when it was, I had no clue who that tired old hag was staring back at me in the mirror. I didn't ask for all those things that we went through. I didn't cause them to happen. I didn't deserve it. It was just life. And in many ways, I wish I would have known back then what I know now, but I didn't. I know now that I had lived under an illusion for most of my life. I thought I had it all figured out. I thought I knew what was what, and I thought I knew what was real. And then I found out I didn't. And it wasn't until I was well into the safety of my healing season of my midlife years that I finally figured it out. Did you notice the word I used there? Safety? I hear so many good, strong, talented women beating themselves up for being human, for getting tired, and for having a less than perfect human experience. My friend, if that is you, you are not stuck because you are lazy, broken, or unmotivated. It's not because you're not good enough, and it's not because you're a failure. You're stuck because, perhaps like me, you've spent a very long time surviving. You learned to push through stuff instead of process it, to prioritize other people instead of yourself, and to stay strong and keep going instead of actually deal with the issues or feel the feelings that came with them. And now here we are in bodies that are not 21 anymore. Your body, mind, and heart are waving a white flag. They're asking for surrender. And you're not just tired, you're depleted. And there are no amount of to-do lists or pep talks or inspirations that are going to fix that. There are things that can only be fixed when both physical and emotional safety are established and honored. That forward motion doesn't start with productivity. It's not about doing more. It's not about being more. And in fact, in many more cases than not, it's often about doing less, or sometimes doing differently. Regardless, it all starts with permission. It starts with giving yourself permission to grieve what didn't turn out the way you hoped. Permission to pause, to rest, to step back and to say, this was hard, without minimizing it or excusing it. And then seek to develop the coping skills you need to get through it. Let's talk about those frustrating negative loops that often show up. They're the patterns that play out over and over and over again, no matter how much you might want to stop. You still give too much. You still say yes when you want to say no. You still excuse bad behavior. You shrink yourself to keep the peace. You overthink, you overfunction, you overcare, and then you justify it all by saying, well, that's just how I am. Maybe that's true, but what I know now is that it's probably more like reverting back to old things. Things that you learned at a different season of your life that once kept you safe. They were the strategies that your younger self learned in order to keep yourself safe in a world that didn't always feel fair or supportive. And those things become the default programming because it's all you've ever known. And you don't have any other healthy options yet to replace them. It wasn't until the rose-colored glasses came off in my own life and I could see what was really going on that I realized I actually had pretty terrible coping skills. I didn't know I didn't have them, and I didn't realize how much I needed them until I started learning better ways of doing and being and thinking and functioning than what had been modeled for me my entire life. And here's where a lot of women get stuck, myself included. They try to think or behave their way out of something that actually has to be felt. Because you can't logic your way through grief, loss, disappointment, or even identity shifts. Nor can you rationalize your way through lacking coping skills. Because no matter what's going on, you have to feel it to heal it, and you have to deal with it to heal it. And that is some deep work. It's deep heart work. It's deep nervous system work. And it starts with permission to be human. How do we do that? Well, first you want to start reconnecting with yourself. Starting with your needs, your wants, and your voice. Many of us were raised with that old adage that children are to be seen and not heard. And I want you to say that is terrible advice. It was terrible then, it is terrible now, and far too many women never outgrew it. It's time to banish that stuff to the outer realms of existence because you matter, your needs matter, your thoughts matter, your feelings matter, and it's way past time for you to be seen and to be heard. And that's going to take some practice. So we need to start practicing it every day by making small little decisions and then stick to them. Don't overthink them. If you get it wrong, learn and move on. It can also help to express your opinion about something like which restaurant you want to go to. State it clearly, state it concisely, mean it, and stick to it. And then stop bypassing your feelings with overfunctioning, overthinking, overdoing, and overgiving. Another thing you can do is to be ridiculously gentle with yourself. If you take this stuff to heart, you're going to be learning all kinds of new ways of doing and being, perhaps for the first time in your life. And it takes a lot to untangle and to unlearn a lifetime of bad habits, poor coping skills, and misconception about yourself, and replace them with things that work much better. That takes time, and it takes effort, and it takes energy, and it's not a straight line path. So let this be a season of healing for you. I promise it is not too late. I didn't learn a lot of this stuff until I was well in my 50s myself. So give yourself permission to feel and to challenge those old narratives and old patterns and become an up-leveled version of yourself. The next thing you can do is to make safety a top priority. This can be a hang-up for a lot of people, especially if their idea of safety revolves around gross neglect or domestic violence, none of which they may have experienced. But the truth is that emotional safety matters as much or more than physical safety. Frequent contention, unmet expectations, name-calling, belittling, bullying, criticism, and all the things like that are all threats to emotional safety. And the lack of emotional safety can send your whole system into fight or flight. And it gets processed in your nervous system the same way as those physical threats do. If you're wondering how to do that when you're running on empty, grab my free guide about what to do when life hands you lemons. I'll give you a little hint. It's not about making lemonade. You can download that at the links below in the description. The key is to start where you are, not where you think you should be, not where Susie down the street is or what Sally posts on Instagram, but let it be where you are right now. And let's normalize being imperfect and a little disoriented as things change in this midlife season and beyond. Not being where you are or where someone else is not a sign of failure or weakness. It's a signal that there is something bigger and better and deeper waiting for you out there. And it's also a sign that you're ready to shift. The stuff we've talked about today is a good start, but it's not the whole story. You don't heal from this kind of stuff by doom scrolling or passively watching videos or reading inspiring quotes. You do it by healing from the inside out. Check out this video over here where I'll teach you what it takes to do that. Be sure to watch that. It is a game changer. I'll see you next time.